Throughout history, the image of the perfect woman has been shaped by cultural trends, social expectations, and ever-changing ideals of beauty and success. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages about what a woman should be: successful, independent, physically attractive, admired by society. But what if the true definition of the perfect woman is completely different from what the world tells us? What if the real measure of a woman's worth is something deeper, something eternal? The Bible offers a strikingly different perspective, one that has remained unchanged for centuries. Proverbs 31 describes a woman whose value is far beyond rubies, a woman of strength, wisdom, and virtue. But is this biblical model still relevant in today's modern world? Does God expect women to fit into this ancient framework, or is there a deeper message hidden within these verses? In this video, we will explore what it truly means to be the perfect woman according to the Bible. We will break down the qualities of the virtuous woman, contrast them with modern ideals, and challenge the way society measures a woman's worth. By the end of this discussion, you may find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about success, beauty, and identity. Before we begin, if you enjoy content that challenges conventional wisdom and explores deep spiritual truths, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our thought-provoking discussions. And now, let's dive into this powerful and eye-opening topic. The idea of a perfect woman has always been a topic of debate. Every culture, every era, every society has its own version of what makes a woman truly exceptional. Some say it's beauty, others say it's intelligence, some claim it's power and influence. And yet, despite all these changing opinions, the Bible has remained consistent in its definition of the ideal woman. The question is, does this biblical description still apply today? In a world that celebrates independence, ambition, and self-fulfillment, does the Bible's vision of a woman still hold any weight? To answer this, we need to go to the source. One of the most famous passages in Scripture that describes the qualities of a godly woman is Proverbs 31. It's a passage that has been quoted countless times, in sermons, Bible studies, and even in wedding vows. But how many people have really stopped to examine what it says? At first glance, Proverbs 31 presents a woman who seems almost superhuman. She wakes up early, works tirelessly, takes care of her household, manages finances, provides for her family, gives to the poor, and still finds time to be wise and kind. Some women read this passage and feel inspired. Others feel overwhelmed. After all, how can anyone live up to such a standard? But here's something important to understand. Proverbs 31 is not about perfection in the way the world defines it. It's not a checklist of impossible expectations. It's a portrait of character, a reflection of the kind of woman whose life is rooted in something greater than herself. The first quality the Bible highlights about this woman is trustworthiness. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. This is not about blind obedience or submission. It's about reliability. This woman is a person of integrity, someone who can be counted on, someone whose word is true and whose actions reflect her faith. And yet, in today's world, trust is often undervalued. Many people are encouraged to prioritize self-interest, personal gain, and independence above all else. Relationships suffer because trust is seen as secondary to ambition. But according to the Bible, a woman who can be trusted is more valuable than gold. She is the foundation of stability in her home, her community, and her relationships. Another striking quality of the Proverbs 31 woman is her work ethic. She rises while it is still night and provides food for her household. This passage is not simply about waking up early. It's about diligence. She is not lazy. She does not wait for opportunities to come to her. She takes initiative. She builds. She creates. Compare this to the messages women receive today. On one hand, there is pressure to achieve career success, to climb the corporate ladder, to prove one's worth in the business world. On the other hand, there is an opposite message that tells women they should relax, take life easy, and focus on self-care. Neither of these extremes fully captures the biblical perspective. The virtuous woman of Proverbs 31 is not obsessed with proving herself, but she also does not shy away from responsibility. Her strength lies in her dedication, her ability to work with purpose, and her unwavering commitment to those she loves. But here's where things get really interesting. The Bible does not say that this woman's value comes from her appearance. Nowhere in Proverbs 31 does it mention her beauty, her fashion, or her social status. And yet in today's world, a woman's worth is often judged by how she looks. Social media, magazines, and television constantly reinforce the idea that a woman's value is directly tied to her physical attractiveness. This is why so many women struggle with self-image. They compare themselves to airbrushed models, celebrities, and influencers who project an unattainable standard of beauty. But the Bible warns against this kind of thinking. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. In other words, physical beauty fades, but character lasts forever. A woman who is kind, wise, and faithful will always have a value that goes beyond mere appearances. This raises an important question. If the Bible defines a woman's worth based on her character, why does society place so much emphasis on external things? Could it be that we have been conditioned to chase the wrong things? Could it be that many women today feel lost and unfulfilled because they are measuring themselves by standards that were never meant to define them? If this is true, then it means something revolutionary. A woman's success is not determined by how many followers she has on social media, how much money she makes, or how many people admire her. True success, according to the Bible, is measured by the impact she has on the lives of others. It's about how she serves, how she loves, how she uplifts and strengthens those around her. Another powerful aspect of the Proverbs 31 woman is her generosity. She opens her hands to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. In a world that often encourages people to be self-focused, this woman is different. She is not just concerned with herself. She looks outward. She sees the needs of others and acts. This is another stark contrast to modern attitudes. Many people today are driven by personal ambition, by the desire to accumulate wealth, power, and influence. But according to the Bible, the greatest among us are those who serve. The perfect woman is not perfect because she is flawless. She is perfect because she lives for something beyond herself. This brings us to one of the most misunderstood qualities of the Proverbs 31 woman, her relationship with her family. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Some interpret this as proof that a woman's role is strictly limited to being a wife and mother, but that is not what this passage is saying. The emphasis is not on limitation, it's on impact. The true measure of this woman's success is not in her title or position, but in the way she influences those closest to her. And here's the reality: no amount of professional success, financial gain, or public recognition can replace the deep fulfillment that comes from meaningful relationships. Whether a woman is single, married, a mother, or not, her ability to positively shape the lives of others is what truly defines her greatness. Now, this raises a crucial question. If the biblical definition of a woman's worth is so different from society's, why do so many people still chase after worldly validation? Is it possible that the world's standards are misleading? Could it be that many women are striving for things that will never truly satisfy them? Before we continue, let me ask you, do you think the modern world has lost sight of what truly makes a woman valuable? Have we placed too much importance on external success and Not enough on character and integrity? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're finding this discussion insightful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more eye-opening content like this. If the biblical definition of the perfect woman is based on character, integrity, and devotion rather than beauty, status, or wealth, why do so many people, both men and women, struggle to accept this idea? Is it because society has conditioned us to seek validation from the wrong places? Or is it because the biblical model challenges the very foundations of what we consider success and power? One of the most striking aspects of the Proverbs 31 woman is her wisdom. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. In other words, this is a woman who thinks before she speaks. She is not impulsive. She does not act out of emotion alone, and she understands the weight of her words. In today's world, wisdom is often overlooked in favor of quick wit, sarcasm, and personal gain. Social media rewards those who can say the most shocking or controversial thing. People are encouraged to speak before they think, to react rather than reflect. But the Bible teaches a different approach. True wisdom is not about proving you're right. It's about knowing when to speak, what to say, and how to say it. This is where we see another contrast between biblical principles and modern culture. A woman who is wise, patient, and discerning is far more powerful than a woman who simply knows how to argue or attract attention. Her influence does not come from manipulation or dominance, but from the depth of her understanding. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth. Many people today value confidence over wisdom. There is a widespread belief that to be respected, a woman must always be loud, bold, and assertive. While confidence is important, the Bible suggests that true strength comes from something deeper. It comes from self-control, from knowing when to fight and when to remain silent, from understanding the bigger picture rather than simply reacting to the moment. And yet, in modern culture, there is often a contradiction. Women are encouraged to be strong and independent, yet at the same time they are pressured to fit a mold, to look a certain way, to think a certain way, to act in a way that gains approval from others. This endless chase for validation can be exhausting. But what if the key to true confidence isn't found in the world's approval at all? What if it's found in something eternal, something that doesn't change with trends or opinions? This is exactly what the Proverbs 31 woman embodies. She does not seek validation from others. Her worth does not depend on society's ever-changing standards. She is confident not because the world praises her, but because she knows who she is. Her foundation is not built on trends, fame, or external success. It is built on faith, wisdom, and a purpose greater than herself. And this is why the Bible says she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. This is perhaps one of the most beautiful descriptions of the ideal woman. She is not afraid of the future. She does not live in anxiety or insecurity. She is strong because she knows that her life is in God's hands. But this raises an important question. How many women today truly feel this kind of confidence? How many feel free from fear, anxiety, and the need for validation? The truth is, many do not. Many feel trapped in a cycle of comparison, self-doubt, and an endless need to prove themselves. This is why the message of Proverbs 31 is so revolutionary. It tells women that they do not need to chase after what the world considers valuable. They do not need to constantly prove their worth. They already have worth, an unshakable, eternal worth that is not dependent on anyone else's opinion. This is a message that is especially relevant in relationships. In modern dating culture, many women feel pressured to be a certain way in order to be considered desirable. They are told that they must be independent, but not too independent. They must be confident, but not intimidating. They must be successful, but not more successful than their partner. The expectations are contradictory and exhausting, but the Proverbs 31 woman does not shape herself based on what others expect. She does not compromise her values for approval. She is strong in her identity, and because of that, she attracts the right kind of relationships, ones based on respect, trust, and mutual growth. This is another major contrast with today's world. Many relationships are built on superficial attraction, financial security, or convenience. But the Bible teaches that the foundation of a strong relationship is character. A woman who is wise, strong, and faithful will build relationships that last. And this applies not just to romantic relationships, but to friendships, family, and community as well. The Proverbs 31 woman is not isolated. She is deeply connected to those around her. She nurtures, she uplifts, she strengthens. She is a leader, not because she demands power, but because she naturally draws people toward wisdom and truth. But let's be honest, living up to this standard is not easy. Some might even say it's impossible. So, does this mean that only a few women can ever be truly biblical in this sense? Not at all. The purpose of Proverbs 31 is not to create an unattainable standard, but to give a vision of what is possible. It is not about perfection, it is about direction. Every woman has the ability to grow into this kind of strength, wisdom, and confidence. It does not happen overnight, and it does not mean never making mistakes. But it does mean pursuing something greater than what the world offers. It means choosing character over trends, faith over fear, and wisdom over approval. And so, the question remains, is the biblical vision of a woman still relevant today, or has the world outgrown these principles? Some may argue that times have changed, that women today have different opportunities and challenges than those in ancient times. But while circumstances change, human nature does not. People still seek meaning. They still desire love, respect, and purpose. They still want to feel valued, not just for their appearance or their achievements, but for who they truly are. And that is why the biblical model of a woman remains powerful. It does not limit women, it frees them. It frees them from the need to conform, from the pressure to seek constant validation, from the fear of not being enough. It tells them that they are already enough, that their worth is already established, and that they do not need to chase the world's approval to be valuable. So what do you think? Do you believe society's standards for women have led to more freedom, or have they created new pressures and expectations? Do you think the qualities described in Proverbs 31 are still relevant in today's world? Or do they need to be reinterpreted for modern times? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this discussion, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be part of more thought-provoking conversations like this. Now, let's go even deeper into this fascinating topic. One of the greatest misconceptions about the Proverbs 31 woman is that she represents a passive, submissive, or weak figure. Many people assume that because she is described as devoted to her home and family, she must be entirely dependent, lacking ambition or personal strength. But when we look closely at the passage, we see something entirely different. This woman is not passive. She is a leader. She is not weak. She is incredibly strong. She does not wait for opportunities to come to her. She creates them. She does not rely on others to define her worth. She knows exactly who she is. Take a look at this verse. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. This is a woman who makes financial decisions, who invests wisely, who thinks ahead. She is not reckless or impulsive, she is strategic. She understands the value of resources, and she uses them in a way that benefits her household and her community. This is something that often gets overlooked. The Bible does not describe an idle woman who simply waits for life to happen. It describes a woman who builds, who takes action, who ensures that her family and future are secure. She is involved in commerce, in management, In agriculture, she is not restricted to a single role. She is a dynamic, capable individual who uses her talents to the fullest. Now compare this to the messages women receive today. On one hand, society encourages women to be independent, ambitious, and financially successful. On the other hand, it often places unrealistic expectations on them, making them feel as though they must do everything, balance a career, family, personal growth, and social life, all while maintaining an impossible standard of perfection. The Proverbs 31 woman does not fall into either of these traps. She does not chase after success for the sake of validation, nor does she neglect her responsibilities in pursuit of personal gain. Instead, she lives with balance. She understands that true success is not about impressing others. It's about living a life of purpose, wisdom, and service. And this brings us to another crucial point: the role of service in a woman's life. Modern culture often portrays service as something weak, as though caring for others is a burden rather than a calling. But the Bible teaches that true greatness comes through serving. "Whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant," Jesus said. This does not mean a woman should be taken for granted or undervalued. On the contrary, it means that the most powerful individuals are those who uplift, nurture, and strengthen those around them. This is precisely what we see in Proverbs 31. The perfect woman is not measured by what she gains for herself, but by what she gives. She is generous, compassionate, and deeply connected to the needs of others. She provides for her family. She reaches out to the poor. She ensures that her household is clothed and fed. She is not focused on self-promotion. She is focused on making a difference. But in today's world, this mindset is often lost. Many people are encouraged to think only of themselves, to prioritize personal gain above all else. Ambition, success, and wealth are often pursued at the expense of relationships, integrity, and peace of mind. Yet how many people find true fulfillment in these things? How many women have achieved everything society told them they needed: career success, financial independence, external validation, only to feel empty inside? Perhaps this is why the Proverbs 31 woman stands as such a powerful contrast. She is fulfilled not because she chases the world's definition of success, but because she understands her true purpose. She is confident, strong, and secure, not because of what she owns or what others think of her, but because of the impact she has on those around her. This raises an important question. What would happen if more people embraced this mindset? If more women focused on building a life of meaning rather than a life of mere achievement? Would we see stronger families, healthier relationships, and a greater sense of fulfillment? And here's something else to consider. The Proverbs 31 woman is not just a model for women, it is a lesson for everyone. Think about it. The qualities described in this passage, wisdom, diligence, generosity, strength, are not limited to women alone. These are virtues that every person, regardless of gender, should aspire to. The principles found in Proverbs 31 are not about restricting women to a single role. They are about revealing the timeless values that lead to a fulfilling life. But let's talk about something that many people struggle with: the pressure to be perfect. Some women read Proverbs 31 and feel inspired. Others feel overwhelmed. The description of this woman seems almost impossible to live up to. She wakes up early, manages her home, works hard, helps the poor, speaks wisdom, and is praised by everyone around her. How can anyone achieve all of that? Here's the truth: no one is perfect. The Proverbs 31 woman is not meant to be a checklist of perfection. She is an ideal, a vision of what is possible, not a rigid set of rules that must be followed exactly. The point is not to become flawless. The point is to grow in character, to develop the qualities of wisdom, kindness, and strength at our own pace, in our own way. And this is where we must be careful. Sometimes, religious communities can unintentionally place unrealistic expectations on women, making them feel as though they must be everything to everyone: perfect wives, perfect mothers, perfect workers, perfect Christians. But this is not what God asks. God does not expect perfection. He expects faithfulness. He does not demand that we do everything all at once. He calls us to walk with Him day by day, growing into the people He created us to be. So instead of seeing Proverbs 31 as an impossible standard, what if we saw it as an invitation, a reminder that true beauty, true strength, and true success are not found in the world's approval, but in the way we live, love, and serve. And that leads us to a final thought. What truly defines a woman's legacy at the end of life? What will matter most? Will it be how many followers she had on social media, how much money she earned, how many compliments she received? Or will it be the lives she touched, the wisdom she shared, the love she gave? This is why the final verses of Proverbs 31 are so powerful. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. This is not about fame or fortune, it is about impact. The legacy of a woman is not measured by the world's standards, but by the lives she has influenced for the better. So, as we reflect on everything we've discussed, let me ask you, what do you think truly defines a woman's success? Is it wealth, beauty, and status, or is it wisdom, kindness, and the impact she has on others? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this discussion, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more eye-opening content like this. The Proverbs 31 woman is often described as a model of strength, wisdom, and virtue. But there's something crucial that we haven't fully explored yet. What is the source of her strength? How does she manage to balance everything, from her responsibilities to her relationships, without falling into exhaustion or frustration? The answer is found in a simple yet profound truth. She does not rely on her own strength. She relies on God. Many people today feel overwhelmed by the pressures of life. Whether it's work, family, financial struggles, or personal challenges, the weight of expectations can be crushing. The world tells us that we must be strong on our own, that we must push forward without showing weakness. But the biblical model teaches something entirely different. The reason this woman is able to accomplish so much is not because she is naturally superhuman. It is because her strength comes from a place beyond herself. She is described as a woman who fears the Lord, and this is the foundation of everything she does. Now, what does it mean to fear the Lord? In this context, it does not mean being afraid of God. It means having deep respect, reverence, and trust in Him. It means understanding that true wisdom, true peace, and true purpose come from aligning one's life with God's will. This is something that many people struggle with today. We live in a time where self-reliance is celebrated. Independence is seen as the highest virtue. The idea of surrendering control to God can seem outdated or even unnecessary. But here's the paradox. The more we try to control everything on our own, the more exhausted we become. The more we rely on our own strength, the more we feel the weight of the world crushing down on us. The Proverbs 31 woman is different. She is not anxious about the future because she knows that her life is in God's hands. She does not waste energy worrying about things beyond her control. She has peace because she knows where her strength comes from. This is why the Bible says she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Think about that for a moment. She can laugh at the future. How many people today can say that? How many people feel so secure, so at peace, that they are not worried about what tomorrow will bring? In contrast, modern society thrives on anxiety. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we are not enough, that we need to do more, be more, have more, that if we don't succeed by a certain standard, we are failures. This creates a cycle of stress, exhaustion, and dissatisfaction. But the Proverbs 31 woman lives by a different standard. She does not allow the world's expectations to dictate her sense of worth. She does not measure herself by wealth, status, or appearance. She measures herself by her faithfulness, her wisdom, and her love for others. And this brings us to another key aspect of her life, her ability to find joy in her purpose. One of the biggest struggles people face today is the search for meaning. Many chase after career success, financial security, or personal achievements, hoping that these things will bring fulfillment. But over and over again, we see examples of people who achieve everything they thought they wanted, only to realize that they still feel empty. Why does this happen? Because success, in the way the world defines it, is never enough. No amount of money, fame, or recognition can truly satisfy the soul. But when a person finds joy in serving others, in building something greater than themselves, in living out their God-given purpose, that is when true fulfillment begins. This is why the Proverbs 31 woman does not complain about her responsibilities. She does not see her work as a burden. She finds joy in what she does because she understands that her efforts have a greater purpose. This is an important lesson, not just for women, but for everyone. When we shift our focus from personal gain to meaningful contribution, everything changes. Work becomes more than just a way to earn money. It becomes an opportunity to create, to build, to serve. Relationships become more than just transactions. They become opportunities to love, to support, to grow together. But let's be honest, this mindset is not always easy to maintain. There will always be challenges, moments of exhaustion, and times when we feel like giving up. The Proverbs 31 woman is not immune to struggle, but the difference is that she does not allow hardship to define her. She does not give up when things get difficult. She perseveres, knowing that her efforts are not in vain. And this is something that applies to all of us. No matter what role we play in life, whether we are single, married, parents, business owners, employees, or students, the principles of wisdom, faith, and perseverance are universal. They shape not only the way we live, but also the impact we have on those around us. This is why the Proverbs 31 woman is so highly praised. It is not because she is perfect, it is because she is faithful. It is because she understands the true meaning of strength. Strength is not about overpowering others. It is not about proving oneself. True strength is found in wisdom, in character, in love. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson of all. A woman's worth is not something that can be measured by the world's standards. It is not determined by appearance, social status, or personal achievements. It is determined by the way she lives, by the way she loves, by the legacy she leaves behind. So now, let me ask you, what do you think defines a woman's strength? Is it independence? Is it resilience? Or is it something deeper, something rooted in faith, wisdom, and purpose? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this discussion meaningful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content that challenges the way we see the world. At this point, we've explored the qualities of the Proverbs 31 woman, dissected her strength, wisdom, and faith, and contrasted her with modern expectations. But there's still one final crucial question left to answer. What does this all mean for us today? Is the biblical vision of a woman still relevant in a world that constantly pushes for new definitions of success, independence, and identity? Or is it something that should be left in the past, a relic of a time when society looked very different? Here's the truth. The qualities of the Proverbs 31 woman are not about cultural trends. They are about human nature. They are about what truly makes a person strong, fulfilled, and respected, not just in the eyes of society, but in the eyes of God. Think about this. The world constantly changes its mind about what makes a woman valuable. In one era, women are praised for being traditional homemakers. In another, they are told they must break every barrier and prove their independence. One decade, beauty is defined by a curvy figure. The next, it's all about being thin. One day success means getting married young. The next, it means rejecting marriage altogether. No matter what a woman does, no matter how hard she tries, society will always find a way to tell her she's doing it wrong. But the Bible offers something different, something that doesn't shift with the times. It tells women that their worth is not found in external validation, but in their character. That real power is not about control, but about wisdom. That true fulfillment is not about chasing the world's approval, but about walking in purpose. And this is where everything comes full circle. The Proverbs 31 woman is not an impossible ideal. She is a picture of what is possible when a woman stops looking to the world for validation and starts embracing her God-given identity. She is strong, not because she dominates others, but because she knows who she is. She is wise, not because she knows everything, but because she listens, learns, and speaks with discernment. She is secure, not because she has everything figured out, but because she trusts in something greater than herself. And perhaps most importantly, she is a woman of impact, not because she is famous, rich, or admired by society, but because her life is built on faith, love, and service. Now, as we reach the end of this discussion, it's time to ask the most important question of all. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? At the end of your life, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be known for the temporary things, looks, success, popularity, or do you want to be known for your wisdom, kindness, and the impact you had on those around you? Because here's the thing. The world will always try to define you. It will tell you who you should be, what you should do, and what you need to chase in order to feel valuable. But at the end of the day, none of that lasts. What lasts is character. What lasts is faith. What lasts is the love and wisdom you pass down to others. So let me leave you with one final challenge. Stop letting the world define your worth. Stop chasing after things that will never truly satisfy you. Instead, start building the kind of life that will matter, not just today, but for eternity. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you think society is helping or hurting women when it comes to defining their worth? Have modern expectations made it harder for women to find true fulfillment? Or do you think the biblical model still holds wisdom for today's world? Let's start a conversation. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful discussion like this. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's change the way we see success, value, and purpose together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.